One guy got shot with a real bullet on set and kept acting. Another broke his neck doing his own stunts at 70 and laughed about it. One refused painkillers after a plane crash on set because the scene wasn't finished. These aren't today's CGI babies. These are the real tough guys your dad told you about. The 15 hardest men in Hollywood history. And number one will make you stand up and salute. Harrison Ford, the man who played Indiana Jones and Han Solo, didn't just act tough. He lived it. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, the famous sword fight was supposed to be a long, choreographed duel. Ford had dysentery so bad he could barely stand. He looked at Spielberg and said, "Why don't I just shoot him?" They did one take. It became iconic. In Star Wars Episode 7, at age 73, he's landing the Millennium Falcon for real, when the hydraulic door falls and crushes his leg. Broken pelvis, shattered ankle. Doctors said he'd never walk normally again. 6 months later, he's back running from explosions in Episode 8. Ford once said, "I don't do stunts for glory. I do them because I don't trust anyone else to make it look real." And the next guy took that philosophy to a whole new level of crazy. Sylvester Stallone. Rocky wasn't just a character. It was Stallone's life. For Rocky IV, he told Dolph Lundgren, "Hit me for real." Lundgren did. Stallone's heart swelled, hit his rib cage, nearly died, spent 8 days in intensive care, came back and finished the fight. Rambo. First Blood Part 2. He did the cliff jump himself, dislocated shoulder, kept going. Expendables at age 64, broke his neck in a fight with Steve Austin. Metal plate, 7 screws, still finished the movie. He once said, "I'm not the richest, smartest, or most talented person, but I'm the toughest son of a bitch you'll ever meet." Clint Eastwood, the man who made squinting an art form. In the 60s Dollars trilogy, he did his own horse falls, gun draws, everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Hanging scene was real rope, real weight. He passed out twice. Dirty Harry, he really fired the .44 Magnum. The recoil broke his wrist on the first take. He kept shooting. At age 71 in $1 Million Baby, he's directing and starring, doing fight scenes himself. Once told a young actor complaining about a stunt, "In my day, we did it till it was right, or till we bled out." Tom Cruise, the modern legend who makes the old guard nervous. Mission Impossible. Fallout. He learned to fly a helicopter in 3 months, did the halo jump 106 times himself, broke his ankle jumping between buildings, finished the take. The director yelled, "Cut." Cruise said, "Did I get it?" Then limped away. Top Gun. Maverick. Flew real F-18s, pulled 9 Gs until he blacked out. Woke up laughing. The old guys respect him, because he's the only one still doing what they did. Jackie Chan. The man who turned pain into comedy gold. Over 100 films. Broken every bone you can name. Police Story. Jumps from a mall balcony through real glass and lights, lands on his neck, dislocates shoulder, burns hands, keeps going. Armor of God. Falls from a castle wall, cracks skull, brain bleed, permanent hearing loss in one ear. Finishes the movie. Rush Hour. Breaks ankle on first day. Does the rest on crutches hidden by camera angles. He has a jar of his own broken bones in his office. Laughs about it. Robert Mitchum's sleepy-eyed stare wasn't an act. It was a warning. Before Hollywood ever found him, Mitchum was riding rails across America as a teenage drifter. He was a Georgia chain gang prisoner at 16. He dug ditches and mined coal. He boxed under fake names for food money. His scarred face and broken nose were all real, not studio makeup. The prison time followed him to fame. When he was busted for marijuana in 1948, it should have killed his career. Instead, Mitchum shrugged. did his 60 days, and walked out of jail more popular than ever. On screen, he looked like a man who didn't give a damn because off screen, he didn't. Director Edward Dimitri once admitted, "You didn't direct Mitchum, you just kept the camera rolling." Charles Bronson's silence wasn't a performance. It was a warning. Born into crushing poverty as one of 15 children, Bronson was working underground in coal mines before most kids finished elementary school. He was covered in soot, breaking his back hundreds of feet below the surface. That coal dust didn't just shape his body, it carved his soul. When World War II erupted, Bronson traded one deadly environment for another. He served as a B-29 tail gunner, flying bombing raids over Japan. He was wounded in combat and earned a Purple Heart. Directors quickly realized his punches looked efficient because they were real. He hit like someone who knew exactly where to strike to end a fight fast. When the Mafia allegedly sent death threats after Death Wish, Bronson laughed it off. His absolute efficiency was his trademark. Owen Wayne wasn't just playing tough guys. He was enduring real pain while the cameras rolled. His pain tolerance became legendary. During the Alamo, Wayne cracked several ribs performing a horse stunt. Instead of halting production, he simply wrapped his torso, took painkillers, and kept filming. The true measure of his toughness came in 1964 when doctors removed a lung and 4 ribs after his cancer diagnosis. Months later, he was back doing stunts in The Sons of Katie Elder. The most haunting chapter came during The Conqueror, filmed downwind from a nuclear test site in Utah. The production exposed cast and crew to deadly radiation. Wayne later died of stomach cancer, likely from that exposure. But he never stopped working, never complained. James Cagney didn't need height to dominate a room. He was 5'5" of explosive power. Growing up in the roughest neighborhood in New York, Cagney learned early that survival meant fighting daily. Those street lessons carved something permanent into his reflexes that no acting school could teach. His punches weren't slow theatrical swings. They were sharp, explosive, and precisely targeted. Director Raoul Walsh confirmed that Cagney knew how to throw a punch better than any actor he ever worked with. His secret weapon was his professional dance training. That unique combination, fighter's aggression with dancer's precision, made him lethal both on screen and off. He could choreograph violence with the timing of a dancer and the impact of a street brawler. Anthony Quinn didn't just play strong men. He was one forged through genuine hardship, born during the Mexican Revolution. When money got desperately tight, Quinn turned to professional boxing. That trademark broken nose, he earned it the hard way. His raw physical power became legendary. While shooting Zorba the Greek, Quinn carried massive logs that normally required 2 men to lift. During the Guns of Navarone, he performed his own cliff-climbing stunts at 46. What truly separated Quinn was his comfort. With both strength and vulnerability, he could weep on screen, show genuine emotion, and still make you absolutely certain he could destroy an opponent if necessary. That duality came from a lived experience, not acting classes. Kirk Douglas didn't get handed anything in life. He fought for every inch. Born to destitute immigrant parents, Douglas clawed his way into college through competitive wrestling. When World War II erupted, Douglas enlisted in the Navy, serving aboard submarine chasers. For Spartacus, he trained with actual fighters, refused doubles, and took legitimate hits. When a dangerous fall during filming caused serious injury, he was back on set within 48 hours. His greatest displays came decades later. In his 70s, he survived a helicopter crash that killed 2 others. Then, after suffering a devastating stroke that destroyed his speech, he fought through years of grueling therapy and regained his voice. Lee Marvin's quiet, dangerous energy wasn't acting. It was memory. As a Marine in the Pacific during World War II, he fought through some of the war's most brutal island campaigns. During the Battle of Saipan, he took machine gun fire to his back, severing his sciatic nerve and leaving him with a permanent limp he disguised on screen. Marvin had seen real combat, real death, and real consequences. Directors noted he moved differently, with the precise economical movements of someone who understood that real violence isn't theatrical. It's efficient, ugly, and final. His power came from absolute stillness, the kind of quiet confidence that needs no demonstration. Steve McQueen wasn't just Hollywood's king of cool. He was legitimately fearless. Abandoned by both parents, McQueen ran away and joined the Marines. During Arctic training, he saved 5 fellow Marines from drowning in a sinking tank. He performed nearly every stunt himself against all studio objections. On The Great Escape, the only stunt he didn't perform was the fence jump. McQueen raced motorcycles and cars professionally. At the punishing 1970 Sebring race, he placed 2nd overall while wearing a cast on his foot. When informed his name appeared on Charles Manson's kill list, McQueen simply began carrying a loaded Magnum everywhere. Charlton Heston brought real physical endurance to roles that demanded superhuman strength. He served as a radio operator and aerial gunner in the Army Air Forces during World War II. He performed physically punishing scenes, hoisting actual stone tablets for the 10 Commandments. He tore shoulder ligaments, performing a stunt for the greatest story ever told, had the injury wrapped during lunch, and returned to filming that same afternoon. Even after diagnosis, surgery, and having a lung removed, he continued performing physically demanding roles. What drove him wasn't ego, but a sense of absolute duty. If genuine toughness had a face, it would look exactly like Audie Murphy. Boyish, unassuming, and absolutely lethal. Before he ever stepped onto a film set, Murphy had already earned every American medal for valor available, 28 decorations in total. At just 19, he single-handedly held off an entire company of German soldiers for over an hour after mounting a burning tank destroyer. This action alone earned him the Medal of Honor. Military historians estimate he personally killed over 240 enemy soldiers. The most chilling aspect: he stood 5'5" and weighed 112 pounds when he enlisted. Producers actually toned down his achievements in To Hell and Back because audiences wouldn't believe what he'd really accomplished. Their legends endure not because of scripts or publicity, but because the camera captured something authentic that no amount of training can fake. Which one surprised you most? Would you have ranked them differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you think today's celebrities are impressive, remember what real toughness once looked like when men who'd survived depression, war, and prison yards stepped in front of Hollywood's cameras. Subscribe for more untold stories from cinema's golden age.